This Hebrew translation or word, we are going to talk about who you know as Anpu or Ambu, and I will not use that Greek word. We got to get rid of the use of these Greek terms, these Hellenic and Roman terms for our story and our people. So we were talking about Anpu or Ambu. And this, of course, is the dog-headed gatekeeper to the underworld, who on the day of judgment, after the king or the queen, the Mfalme or the Mkewe Mfalme, after they passed on, they were going through a ritualistic tradition of passing the body and the soul, the inner energy, the life from within into the underworld to travel with the Nchurawa or the Netaru, to become one with them as a representative of them on Earth Mother. So, in Hebrew, this word would be spelled Mem, Bait, Wa, Aleph. And in the English lettering, that would be M, B, Wa, which would be the W, A. So, as we can see, the Ampu, Ambu, these are the so-called Egyptologist translations. So let's get into our people's languages and let's get into our mother tongues and understand why this name was so called. Now, in Hebrew, that word Mem, Bait, Wa, Aleph, it means entrance, setting sun, and west. See, that right there should give you an understanding of the concept of why they use this word to represent the one who ushers into the underworld. So let's continue. When we look at it, this word, Mem, Bait, Wa, Aleph, sometimes Ampu, Ambu, in our Kibantu Congo languages, I will even throw a wrench, I will throw a curveball in there and show you another language where the same thing applies. In our languages, this word would be pronounced Umbwa. Umbwa. And it literally means dog. I think that's a dead giveaway, no pun intended, knowing that this is the dog-headed gatekeeper of the underworld. So, well, how does dog and underworld go together? Well, go back to the Hebrew definition, meaning entrance, setting sun, and west. What our people were saying was, when the sun set, of course, it rose in the east, set in the west. When the sun set, it looked like it was going into the ground. And as it went lower, it got darker. Do you understand? I mean, you can go outside your door and look at that today. Any day, actually. So west and setting sun are synonymous. Entrance means there's the entrance way to the underworld. So in the Hebrew language, they chose to use the concept that was being used as the entrance to the underworld. But in our Kibantu Congo languages, it was a total concept. It was a totality of the meaning of the word Mbwa. The ones who were responsible for the ushering of the energy and life from within into the underworld. Practice still done today. They wear the head of the dog, the mask made out of wood. Now, this word Mbwa, spelled M-B-W-A, the exact same spelling as it is in Hebrew, Mem, Bait, Wa, Aleph. It means dog in Kiswahili, Chibemba, Lingala, Kinkongo, Shona, and I don't know how many others, but it can go on and on. But those are the ones that I'll go ahead and state because those are the ones I know by my own study. Now, also in the Shivenda language, is exactly pronounced Umbwa. But the word Umbwa is spelled M-M-B-W-A. So it is more of an emphasis put on the Umbwa. Now, if we're thinking about it here, what we're actually talking about is, I want to say it is a, I don't want to say onomatopoeic. Somebody post the word because I can't get it offhand. But basically, it's the sound. It's like the phonetic sound of a dog barking. And if we look at it, not all dogs bark the same. A Chihuahua does not bark the same as a Rottweiler. But certain dogs have a bark that sounds similar to mbwa. So they were using the sound as the word. And if the word comes to my mind before I finish it, I'll pop it out. But anyway, according to the rule, of course, this M is the same exact sound as N. So in Rwanda, the word dog is said as mbwa. N-B-W-A, exact same word. So then we look at it in Sepedi Soto, dog is said as mpa. Mpa. Now this P, again, according to rule, is identical to B. So we're looking at the exact same word. Now, what we get interesting is in isiZulu, Xhosa, and Swazi, the spelling is used as I-N-J-A, and that word means dog. But the pronunciation of it, being that is, I want to say palatal labial, it is also pronounced mbwa. So you see the commonality of all of the different languages, different peoples, same peoples, just different locations throughout Congo. But we'll go ahead and like I said, that curveball that I want to throw is that it just popped out to me. You know, the Umyolo just brought this information to me. And in the Algonquin language, that word is atemwa, A-T-H-E-M-W-A. Now, as we know in the Kibantu Congo languages, the M and MB are synonymous, mbwa, because it is bilabial, meaning it is used with the folding in of the lips. So it's the same sound. So I thought that was very interesting. Not only does it prove that our people, of course, established every place and were the first in every place on Earth Mother, but it also shows that our traditions didn't change very much over the thousands of years that it took us to spread throughout planet Earth. So now we go back to saying the gatekeeper. We see that in the Hebrew language, Membite Wa Aleph, Mwa, means entrance setting sun west. Well, how would I prove that to dog in the Kibantu Congo language? Because the Kibantu Congo languages, of course, it shows why he has a dog head, but it doesn't prove why he's the gatekeeper. That's where we get into the isiZulu word mba, M-B-A, and this means to dig a hole, or it literally means grave digger. So in isiZulu, what they've done, and it's interesting because you really can't get too farther lands in Congo than what you now call Egypt, or let's say northern Chikoma, and the Amazulu. You're talking about extreme north and extreme south. I think that should tell you something. So, mba, to dig a hole or grave digger in isiZulu, and I'm not sure, but I'm quite sure it's possible in Xhosa and Swazi, since they are the same tongues for the most part. But it explains why the one who ushered the life energy within us into the underworld was in a reference or the image of a dog. And the title Mbwa, much like Muhotapa, it was given to the most revered ceremonial grave diggers, buriers, or excuse me, those who perform the burial rituals. Grave digger sounds kind of grave. So the ones who perform the ceremonial burial for our people that passed on. In essence, what they were saying is they were the ones to usher the energy or the spirit into the underworld with the setting sun in the west. That's how it ties in every language, including the Hebrew language, with the purpose of mbwa. Now, why use the dog? Okay, I still have to explain that. As I said, we get thorough. They use the dog because, yes, it is the symbol of a canine, but you can't tell me which canine. The symbol of the dog was used, or the canine was used specifically because of the scavenging nature of the hyena. The hyena, if you overstand. Now let's switch from the History Channel. Let's go to the Discovery Channel. A little more truth up there. A little more reality, I should say. On the Discovery Channels, of course, or just do a little search. The hyena is known and documented to have the strongest bite per square inch, the pounds per square inch, than any other animal walking or flying or swimming Earth Mother. That includes the great white. That includes the grizzly, the Kodiak, the polar bears. That includes the Nile crocodile. That includes any carnivore or herbivore that you can think of walking Earth Mother, including the great lion, Simba Kosi, the great lion king. The hyena has, if I recall, over 7,000 pounds per square inch in its bite. But the hyena is not a hunter. The hyena is a scavenger. The scavengers and their teeth are able, they're able to crush through elephant bone. Do the research. And the hyena, being that it is a scavenger, it eats dead bodies, carrion. And when it eats the carcasses, the carrion, it is in essence it is the last step of that life before it is completely ushered into the world of the dead. Because as long as its flesh is still here, it still has something to offer to this of the living. But after it is completely gone, dust, maybe bones, whatever, after it is completely gone, then it has nothing really to offer here. It offers everything else, fertilizer and whatnot, energy to other things that live. So that represented the canine, as we shall go ahead and correctly say, the hyena named Umwa, that ushered the energy of the kings, queens, Mfalme, Mkewe Mfalme, into the underworld or the land of the life after the life on earth. And the image of the sun, as it says, setting sun in west, if you look at it, the sun rotates. It continues to go. In our traditions and spiritualities, we don't stop living. If you know anything about a little science, see, they won't tell you where they get the real ideas from these scientific experimentations and studies and conclusions. A lot of times they get it from the quote unquote primitive Africans, the Dogons and stuff like that. They can't figure out how we did it, but it's okay when they find it with this so-called technology. Anyway, as you know by the explanations of those Europeans and whatnot who have said, there are explanations about energy. Say energy is neither created nor destroyed. It merely transfers from one thing to the next. Our people understood before any other people even existed that energy was neither created nor destroyed. It just transferred from one place to the next. But speaking of Lion King, Simba Kosi, listen to what Mufasa told Simba in the movie. When Simba said something about he wanted to go do this and go kill this and we're great, why don't you do that? And Mufasa explained to him, we are the great kings or something like that. When we die, if I get it right, I might get it wrong, but it's the concept. When we die, we will feed some animal. That animal feeds or whatnot, it will go into the earth and we will feed the trees. He said that is the circle of life. I think that makes a lot of good sense. So then what it meant was, since the sun goes into the underworld and then raises up into new light the next day, that represents the circle of life. This is why Ra is in the form of a circle. Ra does not mean the sun, it means the eternal light. Not only the eternal light that circles the earth mother, but the eternal light within all of the living. You understand? Now that we've gone through that, let's go ahead and jump into